What up, what up? This is David from the 5-6 Kings, and I want to start this episode a little bit differently. I want to issue a warning to Chipotle Mexican Grill, the creators of the Burrito Bowl, because there's a new player in town, and that player is Subway. I don't know if you guys have seen this, but the new Subway protein bowls are out, and they are fantastic. Marshawn Lynch won't stop raving about it. You won't believe how much fucking protein they can pack into this thing. You want steak and cheese? You want chicken? Done. You want something else? I mean, they probably won't do that. I think those are the only two flavors they're doing. I'm not really sure. I know there's a steak and cheese. I know there's a chicken one. They probably got other stuff, but hey, there's Subway. Good enough for Tony Hawk. Good enough for you. Eat fresh. Subway, please give us money.
That's the Palm Beach County anthem. All my Palm Beach County niggas, y'all put them fucking guns in there and bust them shit. Bitch, I'm from Palm Beach County, that's where I'm from. When niggas get gunned down and left like bubble gum just for fucking round. This ain't a county for you bitches to come around.
What up, what up? We're back with another episode of the 5-6 Kings podcast. I'm David Breen, here with Braden Bullard. Braden, how are you, man?
What the fuck is going on?
Guys, we got a special treat for you today. No, it is not an MMA podcast. We are going to break down and discuss possibly the most influential movie in my lifetime. I don't want to speak for Braden here, but it's had a lot to do with, the way I went through life for a long time. I'm talking about Nick Cassavetes' 2006 classic, Alpha Dog.
Fucking classic.
So for those of you who are unfamiliar, there's going to be spoilers in this. And, I mean, it came out fucking 15 years ago. So,
Yeah, big
either,
spoiler alert.
Yeah, like either watch it or don't. But, like, we're not going to not give away the ending of a movie that could have its learner's permit right now. Huh, Braden? Huh?
Now, this movie made a pretty big impact on my life. And now that we rewatched it, I don't know why it made such a big impact on our lives.
And so we'll dive into all of that. I think I assume most people listening have never seen this movie. You probably aren't even familiar with what I'm talking about. So, Alpha Dog, 2006 movie. It is based on a true story of this guy, Jesse James Hollywood, who was a drug dealer in the Valley out in California, outside the Los Angeles area. He had a little bit of a gang. They were young. He was 20 years old. It was all like young 20-year-old guys. And they kidnapped this kid, Nick Markowitz, because his brother owed him money. They kept him for 3 days, kind of realized like, oh shit, this is a big deal. At one point in the movie, they said, you can't just take a kid and have no one notice. So they kill the kid. And this is the story about just the kid being in captivity. It ends with him getting shot. But I'm going to go through. It's a murderer's row, this cast. They had Emile Hirsch, Justin Timberlake, Anton Yelchin, Ben Foster, Sharon Stone, Bruce Willis, Amanda Seyfried, Olivia Wilde, and Amber Heard, who is Aquagirl. Braden was real excited when we pieced that together and watching this the other night.
Big fan.
But so just kind of go through it. Emile Hirsch plays Johnny Truelove as the character. I'm not going to say the real life names because I don't want to know 3 names. I'm not smart enough for that. So he plays Johnny Truelove, who's kind of the leader of the gang. That's Jesse James Hollywood in real life. Justin Timberlake plays his like right-hand man, and Justin Timberlake, he says the word spook a few times. He says faggot a bunch. Like, it's wild seeing the guy from NSYNC just be racist and homophobic.
What it must be like to be in the early 2000s again, huh?
Yeah. But it's a bunch of young dudes. They're all hanging out, drinking, smoking weed. Ben Foster shows up one night, and he's like, yeah, I know I owe you money. I was going to handle this thing for you. And Johnny Truelove's like, well, you fucking owe me that money. He's like, I got $800. I thought we could split it, which is crazy. Just be like, I got $400. Here you go. Don't say I have double what I'm going to give you. Emile Hirsch wasn't having it. He tries to beat the shit out of Ben Foster. Ben Foster just kicks his ass and like starts to drown him in the pool, and all of Emil Hirsch's buddies come over.
Talk
they
about
break it
fight or
up.
flight. This man fucking jumps up from his back, his
Just
head through
immediately.
fucking throws him through a sign glass door. It's an absolutely phenomenal scene. Ben Foster is probably one of my favorite actors. He absolutely knocks this role out of the park. I mean, he takes this whole role in this movie, honestly, to another level. His acting performance is like top tier.
Oh, he's fantastic. So he plays the kid.
He makes
who
it like a
gets-
cult classic. I feel like just from his
well,
character.
Not just him. This
Well,
whole
yeah,
movie's a cult
I don't
classic.
want to. Yeah. You're right. I'm just kind of on Ben Foster's dick right now, but
So Ben Foster, he plays the older brother of the kid who ends up getting kidnapped, and he's an older junkie brother, skinhead. Apparently, So we saw this movie when we were 12 and didn't really piece it together, and then we watched it last night, and he has like a big poster with swastikas in his apartment. We were like, oh shit.
yeah, there's a lot of things I definitely didn't notice when I was like 12 years old. So
But he plays the junkie brother to perfection. They keep saying like the parents are like, oh, he's just stoned. He's always stoned. Like he's smoking crystal meth or crack.
Yeah.
Like he's not acting like someone who's just stoned. He hits it out of the park. But so they break it up, and Johnny comes out. He's pointing a gun at him, and Ben Foster says, "You point that thing at me, you better pull the fucking trigger." And then he shoots the gun in his pool, which is, I mean, come on, neighbors would have called the police.
that's what I'm saying. It seems
That
so
doesn't
silly.
just happen.
There were so many things that probably, I mean, I guess did happen, but like when you watch him in the movie, at least now, you know, for me now, I'm like, how the fuck did this happen? Like just that alone, like there'd be cops there within like 20 minutes, not
Sure,
even.
it's gunshots in a residential neighborhood.
Oh, in a nice residential neighborhood. Like this is like he's living in the fucking hills in like $1 million house in California, and they're fucking wild little white gangsters just fucking popping guns and throwing people through fucking glass tables because they owe him a couple $100. He ended up killing this kid for $1,200.
So there's conflicting reports. There's some stuff online that says it was $36,000, which, you know what? That's enough money to kill a kid. I agree. I agree. If it's $36,000, you're like, I'm never getting that
What's
money.
the,
I'm
what's
just
the
gonna kill
limit?
this
What's
kid.
like where's the break?
$36,000. That's the limit.
That's the breaking point right there.
$1,200. Like the government gave me $1,200 last year as a gift.
Hey, we
They're like,
fucked up
hey,
some
this
things
is
and,
this is some relief because of the whole COVID thing. Here's $1,200. Like, you don't kill a kid over
yeah, it's like
$1,200.
one month's rent fucking payment.
Yeah, 36,000 dead. Dead for sure.
Yeah, I don't know. I think
You go ahead.
I don't know. Maybe like 100,000 is like the cap for me.
Money bags over here. You just got it like that. It's
I
100.
need.
I'm killing kids over 36,000. Brain's like, oh, it's gotta be almost triple that.
If I'm Justin Timberlake, I'm only taking 100,000 or 100,000 or more.
So it's Emil Hirsch is the leader of this whole gang of like little white gangsters. So that night happens. There's weird just kind of plot holes. There's this guy Bobby 911 who I've seen this movie probably 1,000 times. I don't really know his relation to the gang. There's a scene where he comes up, he has a bunch of money. He's like, I need 5. I got this guy who needs 5 plus my normal 2, so I figure I need 7. We don't know what 7 is, but apparently it cost $8,500. But also, like, you can't tell, is he just buying drugs? Does he sell for him? Is he part of the gang? He's just kind of there, and it's never addressed.
Yeah, I think they're trying to set up that like he probably does multiple things, and that's maybe not just one in particular thing that he maybe sells or does as like a legal activity.
Well, he says cool stuff, too.
Yeah,
He
yeah.
says if it makes sense, do it. If not, fuck it.
Fuck it. That honestly, like it's so like overplayed that I feel like the director was like, listen, I just want you to not use your jaw, don't use your tongue, and just try to speak without blinking. And just look him dead in his eyes and try to mumble every single thing you say. It's going to look so much more cool. Trust me. And by almost underplaying it, he overplayed it. And it's almost corny. It's almost like it sticks in your head because you're just like, fuck it.
It's I mean, he's
Fuck it.
he's just like a burnt out dude the whole movie.
But it totally sets it up like, oh my God, look at these fucking these knuckleheads.
These little rascals, just up to no good.
No good.
But so the group, Emil Hirsch is the leader. Justin Timberlake's like his boy, but you can tell he's kind of scared of Emil Hirsch's guy, Johnny Truelove. He's kind of scared of him and kind of just goes around. But you can tell like he's his boy. He's closer to him than everyone else. There's this guy Elvis, who owes Johnny money, and Johnny like makes him clean his house and do his laundry. And then just seeing Elvis tries to work out with them in the garage. He's like, I hired you for a full day's work. You see the fucking moon out, Elvis? Get back to work, bitch. And I'm like, oh shit. Like that's early on in the movie.
Yeah, but even that, like, trying to set up his character, I feel like they should have done more. I mean, just because even in that scene, as he's talking shit to, Elvis, at the end, I mean, it's almost like they're friends just because he owes him money. It's almost like they hang out, and even though he gets picked on the most, it's almost like they're still friends. I feel like they should have set up more for Emil Hirsch's character.
So they are still friends.
No, yeah, exactly.
Like the people in real life, they all grew up together.
Yeah, but yeah, exactly. But I'm saying like even more so for
it'd be
Emil
like,
Hirsch's.
not to cut you off, but it'd be like a very real scenario where you owe me a bunch of money and I'm just making you clean my house and shit.
For
like,
sure.
You're still my friend, but like,
yeah.
you're my bitch, and I hired you for a full day's work.
Hey, but I'm saying for Emil Hirsch's character to go from like I get it. The only thing they really set up for him to do enough to make you think, oh, he actually would go and abduct a kid and kill him is that he threw Ben Foster's character through a fucking glass table over a couple $100. So that I feel like that's the most that they did for his character. Other than that, it's like, why the fuck would he go from what they showed to what he did? And obviously people do dumb fucking things. I just feel like they should have showed a little bit more in the beginning of the movie now that I rewatched it to build a little bit more fucking insanity for his character.
Yeah, I hear what you're saying, but it was kind of like, so Ben Foster and his skinhead buds, they broke into his house and stole his TV, and oh my god, this scene is great, people. They show up. They're in like a low rider with hydraulics. And like looking at it as an adult now, it's full. It's three skinheads breaking into the guy's house.
Yeah.
And they break his window. They take an axe to his door. Johnny's hiding in his bedroom. They don't know he's there. And then Ben Foster just takes a big shit on Emil Hirsch's living room carpet. And that's the next day. I'm about to fucking bury you in a second here, Braden. I'm so excited. The next day, they try to go to Ben Foster's house. It is Johnny Truelove, Frankie, who's played by Justin Timberlake, and Tico, who is played by Fernando Vargas. And they try to, he's not home, like they're banging against the door, and they can tell he's not there. So they leave, and then later they're driving, and they see the brother, the little kid, walking. And they pull over and they throw him in the back of their van. But so when they tried to go to Ben Foster's house to beat the shit out of him, Braden was adamant that he's like, these three guys, like I would beat the fuck out of those three guys if they were there.
I mean, I'm talking about the actors.
Yeah, no, that's good. I'm glad you're talking about the actors.
Yeah.
Because Fernando Vargas is a 2-time world boxing middleweight champion. So like, what do you got to say to that? Yeah, I did a little research on that guy. 2-time world champion.
All right, well, you heard it first, Fernando. Let's Jake Paul this. All right, let's start up the internet drama beef. Yeah. I'll talk a bunch of shit. You talk a bunch of shit, and if we can get a big enough number, I'll let you knock me out. I'll Ben Askren it. I don't give a fuck. I'll make my okay. Actually, no, that's not good hype for it. I'll fuck you up, bro. Yeah. I'm gonna fuck you up. We'll talk behind closed doors. But yeah, bro, you don't want that. I said it. I said it to David. I'll say it again. I would take you, Emil Hirsch, and Justin Timberlake 3-on-1, same fucking time. No holds bars. Fucking Hell in the Cell. I don't give a fuck. You three versus me any fucking time. Actually, not any time. It'd have to be for Triller. Lots of money. Gonna need Ric Flair to walk me out. Snoop Dogg as a commentator. If we can piece those things together, I'll take a 3-on-1 live pay-per-view Triller, maybe midsummer. Who knows?
Oh, you're thinking this year?
Yeah,
you're thinking it's gonna get pieced together this year. All right, you heard it here first, Fernando, Justin Timberlake, and Emil Hirsch.
Well, another little funny plot hole beyond, but specifically in the movie for that part of the scene. Apparently, Zach Marzurski, the kid that ended up getting murdered, is a fucking black belt. And it's like, why didn't he whoop these 3 fucking people's ass? Like as if these 3 fucking little thugs are going to run up and know how to bump. But this dude is a black belt and didn't defend himself. Literally all of his training and never used it. Like, think about how long it takes to become a black belt. Like, probably 10 or 20 fucking years. And all that training.
So the kid's 15.
Maybe he's been doing it since he was 5 years old. I mean, how is he a fucking black belt? It takes probably at least 10 years to become a black belt. I mean, I don't know. I'm not a fucking black belt, but I would assume it takes a long fucking time.
Yeah, but it's also, dude, he's a 15-year-old kid and it's 3 adults. One of them is...
They're not even barely adults. They're like 20 years old.
One of them is a 2-time middleweight champion of the world.
Yeah, that's the actor, which I did not know.
But, yeah, like, you can poke holes and all that. Maybe the kid in real life wasn't a fucking black belt. Like, like you can choose to die on that hill.
Didn't look up that, huh,
Yeah.
David?
I mean, he was a 15-year-old kid. 3 adults ran
okay.
out of a van, beat the shit out of him, threw him in the back of it.
Literally against all of his training, though.
So they do a witness, because there's 2 people who saw him get beat up and thrown in the van. They do a witness count.
Yeah.
38 people witnessed him being, like, in those guys' custody, and, like, nothing. 38 witnesses to a kidnapping murder, and it still went through to completion.
I'm just thinking how
Fernando's
a 2-time.
Yeah, dude, 2-time. Yeah. Last night, guys, it was uncomfortable. We paused the movie because Braden was talking about how athletic he is and how, like, he'd be able to win that fight. And then, like, today I was just going over the cast before we did this, and I just lit up when I saw who Fernando Vargas was. I was so excited. So they kidnap him, and they're like, we got to take him somewhere. And Johnny's like, well, just take him to your dad's house. She's like, what? I'm not taking him to my dad's house. Like, you said your dad was cool. He's like, yeah, you didn't tell me you were going to bring a fucking hostage, dude. So he's like, I got somewhere. They bring him to Chucky's house. Chucky is the coolest motherfucker I've ever seen in a movie. They get to his house. Immediately, Emile Hirsch goes, there's 5 of them walking in there. Immediately, Emile Hirsch goes, you got a room we could use? He's like, a room? He's like, yeah. He's like, all right, in the back. And they take Zach back there. They're tying him up, putting him in the guy's closet. But Justin Timberlake sits out there. He's hanging with Chucky, and he's like, yeah, man, I'm just ripping waves, getting high, and just chilling, living the life.
Smoking weed.
Yeah,
he's like, oh, yeah, smoking weed.
Smoking weed. Nice. Like, he's the cool, like, his character didn't need to be as cool as it was. I feel like that's just who that guy was, that they got to play it. But there's this guy, they don't ever address, the guy's name was Gay Lump. That's what they called him. They called him Gay, and then in parentheses, Lump.
Mm-hmm.
And he comes out, and he's like, Chucky, they're tying a fucking kid up in your bedroom. And he comes out, and he's like, what's going on? And then Emile Hirsch comes out, and he's like, mind your fucking business. He goes, mind your business? This is my fucking house. And then he cocks his gun, and he says, Frankie, better put your boy in check. Tell him what fucking time it is.
Boom.
Yeah.
That's when David's whole childhood changed.
That is, guys, in that moment, I was like, I want to be Emile Hirsch's character.
So bad.
Tell him what fucking time it is. That was it. Mind your business. Tell him what fucking time it is. He points the gun at, and then Chucky's like, oh, it's like that? All right, I'm getting the fuck out of here. He's like, none of you guys better be in my house when I leave. And then he just leaves with Gay Lump, and there are 2 girls there too. So it's 4 more witnesses to this kidnapping.
I mean, that to me, and maybe it is true. All these fucking witnesses. Apparently, this is actually how all this shit went down. Maybe it's early 2000s in fucking California. I don't know. I don't know how the fuck this shit happens. But this dude fucking leaves. 4 fucking random dudes he's never met, tying up a kid in his fucking room, leaves his fucking place unlocked with these fucking dudes in his place. Just like, what, do you not care about your valuables anymore? Do you not care about what could happen to you or you know, anything that's going to happen, like, criminally with this kid in your place, all this shit? He just fucking leaves. He's just like, all right, I'm going to a fucking music festival, and when I get back, they better not be here. Like, what's he going to do when he gets back anyway? Like, hit him with his bong or something? This dude's like a straight stoner, and apparently doesn't give a fuck about any of his belongings or his livelihood or anything. And I'm like, that's a huge either plot hole or everyone in California is a fucking idiot back in the early 2000s.
Well, dude, he was going to Fiesta. He told you that. He was
Is this
getting
early?
he was getting high.
When did this all take place? Is it?
It was the movie keeps saying 99,
Okay.
but everything I saw online says 2000.
Okay.
I don't know why. Like they changed the names. I get that. Which, by the way, Jesse James Hollywood is the guy's name in real life.
Yeah,
He's a
I know.
Emile Hirsch character. I love that they were like, well, he's got a cartoon name in real life, so let's call him Johnny Truelove in the movie. Let's give him another cartoon name. Like,
Yeah.
like they weren't like, oh, we're just gonna call him Ben Smith. They were like, no, he's gonna be Johnny Truelove. But dude, he was going to Fiesta. He's got the girls. He's got Gay Lump. They're going to Fiesta, and also he pointed a gun at him. If someone's pointing a gun at you in your house and you have the opportunity to just leave, you leave.
Well, this is what I said to you yesterday too. I said, call the cops.
That's-
He doesn't have to like put his life on the line right
the
there.
the guy with the gun told him to mind his fucking business, and he told him what fucking time it is. So Chucky said, "All right, it's like that. I'm going to Fiesta. I get it."
Which is funny because that's where they were going too. So imagine like they just like bump into each other on the side of the street.
Fiesta,
like,
Fiesta's big. You know, it's big.
didn't look that big in the movie.
It's great. It didn't look like a thing in the movie either. It was just,
Yeah, it was just
one
like a couple
street,
people-
and
yeah,
a couple
yeah.
people on the sidewalk screaming.
yeah.
So they cut back. Johnny's doing his hair in the bathroom and puts a backwards hat on, and he looks great. I'm like, yeah, backwards hat. You gotta slick your hair back. I was like, he's just got it. He's gonna go to Fiesta. He's gonna get laid.
God damn it,
This
Emile
gonna be
Hirsch.
me. But he comes out and the kid's playing video games with his buddies,
Stoned out of his fucking
smoking
mind.
weed, just playing video games. And he's like, look,
I won't say anything.
yeah, he's like, I promise I won't say anything. And so two of the guys, Vargas's character, Fernando Vargas, Tico, who, oh my God, on IMDb, it says his name is Tico, and then in parentheses, TKO,
Yeah.
Martinez. At no point do they call him TKO in the movie. So I feel like they just gave him that nickname on the set.
Because he's one of the best fucking boxers apparently for his. Oh my God,
Yeah,
my
but-
bad, Fernando.
But so Tico and Bobby 911's there. Another like what's his relation to these people? He's just there hanging out. He says another weird. Oh, Emile Hirsch is like, well, I thought we duct taped his mouth shut, and he's like, he couldn't breathe.
Yeah.
But Tico and Bobby 911 are both like, hey, I forgot. I got a date back in the valley. I gotta go. And he's like, all right, pussies, you're gonna leave because we kidnapped a kid. That's fine. Just leave. Drop me off at Fiesta. I'm not letting this kid ruin my weekend. And Justin Timberlake's like, what about me? And he says, no, the kid stays with you. He's like, what? He's like, you're bringing him to your dad's house. He's like, I told you I can't do that. He's like, he's not tied up. Just bring him there. Tell your daddy's your friend. This kid's 15. He's like, tell your daddy's your friend. And he's just staying with you for the weekend. So that's what happens. They show up. His dad is... Oh, no, hold on. There's a scene that I highly doubt happens. So they walk past a convenience store. Justin Timberlake goes in.
Oh yeah, you gotta.
He gets them 2 beers. He has the kid smoke a cigarette with him. And he looks, they're right next to a bus station. And Justin Timberlake goes, what if I was to tell you I could get you a bus ticket, send you home, I'll tell Johnny you just ran away or something. And the kid's like, no, I don't want to make things harder for my brother. I think I'll just ride it out. I highly doubt Justin Timberlake. I feel like, by the way, the character who played Justin Timberlake, the character Justin Timberlake plays is out of prison. All these guys got arrested. Justin Timberlake's got out of prison after like 13
Yeah, and if you
years.
watch this movie, he's one of the main motherfuckers.
So I feel like this movie probably helped. The parole board probably saw and they're like, man, he really didn't want to kill this kid. He kept giving the kid outs. He kept doing it like.
Now, do you think that's a mistake on
maybe
like
he's a
maybe
good
like
guy.
one of the writers, or do you think like Justin Frankie or what? Actually, that's his actual name. So Justin
guy's
Timberlake's
name's
character, or
Jesse
whatever.
something.
Yeah. Do you think he somehow was able to get in contact with the writer or like the producers of the movie and give his side of the story, and maybe they felt compelled to be like, I don't know, I kind of sympathize with him, and I'll put his side of some of these little, which you're saying are fake moments, probably didn't happen.
I mean, I can't imagine he was like, let me buy you a bus ticket right
But that's what I'm
now.
saying. Do you think it was the writer that just like for some reason thought to put that in there like that, or do you think like his actual character was able to get in touch with them and like persuade them to make that?
Could have been his character. So there are like eyewitnesses said like he liked the kid and he kept like he at least portrayed as someone who's like, I didn't know they were gonna kill him.
Yeah, but even in the movie, the man's crying with him right before he gets shot. I mean, I don't know.
Yeah,
That's.
Well, we'll get to that.
But like what I'm saying, like if you're the judge watching that, I get what you're saying at certain points when you watch some of those scenes, but still at the end, it's like the dude's still tying him up.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? Like even those scenes, I feel like don't do it justice to the point to where the judge should. I'm surprised that he's out of prison. Honestly, I mean, if this character is listening in on this podcast,
highly likely that he's listening.
don't take it personal.
Okay. So for those of you listening, I made a joke about the parole board watching a movie that came out in 2006 and using that to grant someone parole. And then Braden took a real deep dive and really got analytical with it. Yeah. I don't think the parole board really watched it, and like that's why they released him. I can't imagine they probably weren't allowed to watch that movie because they can't be swayed in any way.
All right, whatever, but
yeah. So you get
obviously they're swayed though in some way if he's fucking out of prison.
Yeah, you probably people write letters and shit. There's some kind of you get like character witnesses and stuff when you're
obviously did something
when
right.
you're trying to be granted parole. And fuck, maybe he did have a minimalist role. Maybe he liked the kid. Maybe he thought he was going to be getting him out of here. Maybe he had no idea they were going to kill him.
So when you say that, do you think then when he's tying up the kid that's about to get shot in the movie, I expect, do you think that's true, or do you think
there's no goddamn way? So, and I want to keep this in order.
Okay.
Yeah. Like we'll dive all into that.
Yeah.
They get to Frankie's dad's house. Frankie's dad's got 2 chicks over. They're getting fucked up. He's like, Frankie, who's this kid you brought here?
He's having a threesome.
He's like, come on. And he's trying to get Justin Timberlake
to fucking join him.
He's like, come on, no, hang out on the couch with us. Come on. Like,
no, he's telling him to kiss the girl.
Yeah,
and
he's like,
come
on,
he's
like, be a gentleman. Be a gentleman. Kiss her. Justin Timberlake doesn't, unfortunately. It would have been a different movie if he did. Then they go to sleep, and then Justin Timberlake's dad wakes him up, and he's like, you got to do chores. He's like, get out of my room. Shut up. He's like, no, if you're going to live in my house rent-free.
Completely different guy.
You're going to do chores. Dad's wearing like a suit, like going to work. He's like, don't argue with me. Get up and do chores. And Zach's like, I'll help you with the chores, man. So they're out gardening. There's weed plants that he's like clipping
His
the buds.
chores is like cleaning up the fucking house.
Yeah.
And clipping buds.
Yeah. So then Justin Timberlake's like, I'm going to have a party. I'm going to have a bunch of people over. He has these, and they're all high school kids.
Yeah.
Which is bananas. He has all these kids over, and then Johnny calls, and he's like, hey, we got to talk. He's like, what's all that noise? He's like, I just got some people over. He's like, well, get him the fuck out of there. So then he pulls this kid. This kid's 17. And he's like, hey, I need you to watch Zach.
And isn't that his girlfriend's brother?
Because he bangs the brunette later. I don't know what that blonde girl is.
No, I'm pretty sure, because remember in the scene initially where the mother was talking about this is her date night or whatever.
So that's the blonde girl and him are brother and sister. I don't know who the blonde girl is in relation to Justin Timberlake, though, because he bangs the brunette girl who's her friend later in the movie.
Yeah.
So I think the blonde girl's just there. Blonde girl was my least favorite character in this movie, by the way. Which is crazy. Like,
well, she seemed like one of the most realistic ones.
She was the only one who was like, no, this is crazy. Let's get the kid out of here. You need to go home. I'm calling the police. And I was like, God, I hate her. I was like, I hate her so much. She needs to just calm down. Yeah. She is the only decent person in the movie. And I'm like, she's the fucking worst. Like, God,
get this Karen out of here.
Yeah, get her the fuck off the screen. So those people are over. There's girls flirting with the kid. They're all drinking and getting high. The kid's loving it. He's 15, and there's these 17-year-old girls all over him.
Yeah, apparently they're all like good-looking girls too.
So
like,
Frankie, yeah. So Justin Timberlake pulls the kid aside, and he's like, I need you to watch him. He's like, just no phones, no leaving him alone. The kid's like, what are you talking about? No phones. What's going on? He's like, all right, so Johnny kidnapped that kid because his brother owes him money, and is holding him until he gets paid. And he's like, and the kid's like, I don't know about all this. He's like, who the fuck you talking to? He's like, I'm Justin Timberlake. You need to watch him, all right? And the kid's like, all right, I'll watch him. Oh, like this poor kid. He's 17. There's just
has no idea.
There's this little fucking white gangster dude.
Actually, he was trying to say in the beginning, he was like, I don't know, man.
Yeah, he was against it. He was like, it sounds crazy.
Yeah, this seems like.
He's like, bitch, it's not like that. Watch the kid.
He's like, hey, if I give you my word That's how it is.
Yeah.
You trust me, right? Yeah, you got it.
Yeah, the kid's so nervous. It's an older man telling him to do this. He's like, all right. And then he tells his sister, and that's when Susan's freaking out. And the girl, Julie, played by Amanda Seyfried, however you say her name.
Seyfried.
She's the dumb girl in Mean Girls of the three. It's Rachel McAdams, it's Gretchen Wieners, and then the other girl.
And other girls are like, oh my God, that's so hot.
Those girls fucking love that he's kidnapped.
You're stolen.
They fucking love it. And Susan's freaking out. And they're like, Susan, calm down, all right?
I think it's hot.
Yeah, it's hot.
It's hot.
So great. So then they smoke more
Kid's
weed.
popping a fucking job. He's like, yeah, I'm stolen.
Yeah. So they're hanging out, smoking weed, like playing video games. And then they go back to Frankie's house, and Emile Hirsch's character's there, and his girlfriend's Olivia Wilde. And he's like, hey, babe, we got to talk business. We're going to go in the bedroom, get yourself a drink, and just wait for us. They go in there, and Emile Hirsch says a great line. He's like, I think we're in a lot of trouble. He's like, what do you mean? He's like, well, you can't just take a kid and have nothing happen. Like,
no one
this
noticed.
Is a day later, and he's like, shit,
He's like giggling on the bed, like hands behind his head, like just fucking relaxed and saying it almost.
And then, so the conversation kind of unravels. He's like, dude, like we could go to jail. We could go to jail
like,
for life.
Yeah.
And then Justin
That's what
Timberlake's
I
like, I'm
said.
not going to fucking jail. That's bullshit. The kid's not going to talk. And then Emile Hirsch's like, yeah. It's like, there's a solution here. I just can't think of it. And Justin Timberlake's freaking out. He hits the joint. And then Emile Hirsch goes, hey, Frankie, what if I was to offer you $2,500? Just fucking wax the kid.
Just
Just
off him,
just take him out somewhere and just fucking wax him. Justin Timberlake freaks out. He's like, that's a joke, right? It's a fucking, and he starts laughing. He's like, of course it's a joke. It wasn't a joke. And that's part of why I loved Emile Hirsch's character. Because he's talking about killing a kid, and he's like, yeah, just fucking wax him.
You know,
I don't even care. Just wax the kid.
Off him.
He freaks out, and then Justin Timberlake's like, no, we just got to tell him he's our boy. Maybe give him a few bucks and make him feel comfortable. And he's like, yeah, all right, we'll do that. And then the scene ends, and they're fine. Frankie's having a big party at his house because when you kidnap a kid, you want as many witnesses as possible to come by and see him there.
Exactly.
Just a bunch of people. And it turns out that wasn't fake in the movie. We were watching it, we're like, that can't be what happened.
like, why
it
would
really happened.
Yeah.
He threw a party.
We're thinking the whole time, like, how is this actually true? Like, if someone abducted this kid and didn't want no one to see, like, you're going to, throw this kid in the fucking closet for 3 days. But no, apparently he's throwing fucking parties and letting everyone fucking see who's, like, goes to high school with the kid, apparently, too, or some shit. Or, like,
Yeah. It's rascals.
so is this the
Little rascals. So at the party, Zach is in the kitchen with Amanda Seyfried's character, and she's like flirting with him. His wrists are all fucked up because he was tied up earlier, and she's like, "Oh, let me see that." Like she's nurturing him. It's fantastic. And then Emile Hirsch walks in. He's like, "You give us a minute," and Amanda Seyfried leaves. And his way of trying to, like, tell him, he's like, you good? Like, you getting enough food? He's like, yeah, I'm fine. He's like, you need some money? He's like, I'm good, which I for sure would be like, yeah, give me some money.
Yeah.
And then
$1,500?
his way of being like, yeah, we're boys, you're good, like trying to throw an arm around him was to say, hey, man, you're a real stand-up guy. Which is crazy. And it was so forced. He's like, you're a real stand-up guy, you know that? And he's like, oh, thanks. He's like, brother's an idiot. He's my boy, and I love him, but he's acting a motherfucking fool right now. Which is another reason, the way Emile Hirsch talks in this movie, that's what drew me. I was like, I could be like that.
Oh, yeah.
And you could just tell, like,
Cat back looking, fucking polo wearing.
Yeah.
Badass.
Always wearing a backwards hat. Real Fred Durst vibes. And just loving it. But, so that conversation ends, and it's kind of weird, and you can tell Emile Hirsch is like, I don't know how that went. So that day's over. The next day, did something else happen? Am I missing something?
Well, I was gonna say, is this the part where where it ends up jumping to the family and like they're talking to Ben Foster, Jake Mazursky?
Oh,
That's what I'm saying. When they ends up going to the party, right?
So great.
Which is like one of my favorite fucking scenes, probably of like all time, because it's so goddamn fucking raw. I mean, Ben Foster takes this fucking role to like I feel like to a whole other level. I feel like when he got this role, he went into a goddamn cave of just living this life for fucking months before he actually ended up doing so he's apparently a fucking black belt or some shit too, and goes to this party looking for who? Emil Hirsch's character?
Yeah, he's looking for Johnny.
Yeah, he's looking for Johnny. And he goes there, he goes to the party, and he's like asking around, once again, he's a skinhead, so he walks up to a couple black people and like immediately is like, where the fuck is he at? And doesn't give a shit about like, greeting them with respect or anything like that. So this woman comes up and is like, stop being a fucking asshole. And he fucking like just like takes her and fucking throws her. Another bitch comes up, he punches her straight in the fucking face.
So it doesn't get addressed because it was a very big black guy that he was talking to, and the girl's like, we were talking. He's like, I don't give a fuck. And he punched her in the face hard.
Yeah.
But then like a small Asian girl.
No, it was a guy. I'm pretty sure it was a guy.
It was a girl.
It was a girl?
It was a small Asian girl
sure?
wearing sunglasses, and like her clothes are all the same color, and she's wearing like an artsy hat. Comes up and says, "Why you tripping, Holmes?" And then he just fucks the Asian girl up.
Yeah, and then like three other people come up. He ends up headbutting some dude, fucking spinning back kicks someone right in the fucking face. Ends up taking this one dude and curb stomps him in the middle of the party, and there's still like 50 other people in the party. Just like the music stops right when he fucking kills this dude with a curb stomp, and he just gets in this rage, and he's like, if anyone has seen Johnny Truelove, you let him know Jake Mazursky is looking for him. And no one, you can fucking hear a drop of a dime in this fucking place, and he ends up just like leaving. But it's like the way the music cuts, and he ends up killing like someone through a fucking curb. I guess he doesn't kill him because that would probably come up in the movie somehow. But but like really fucks these people up. It's like emotional. It's like distraught for you as like a viewer watching this. You're like, holy fucking shit, this dude just took this whole thing to like a whole another fucking level, like made this thing so heightened now. And then what was it, shortly after he gives him the phone call, gives Emil Hirsch's
so Emil Hirsch calls him from a payphone,
give this
and he's like, hey, it's me, the midget, because Ben Foster calls him a midget earlier in the movie, and he's like, don't you think we should talk? And he's like, there's nothing to talk about. Ben Foster goes, there's nothing to talk about. I know it was you. And Emil Hirsch's like, I don't know what you're talking about. He's like, Johnny, I know it was you, and you're dead. And he goes, don't fucking threaten me. He's like, no, fuck that. It's a promise. You better pray. You better pray that the cops find you before I do, because I'm going to slit your throat, and I'm going to cut you open, and I'm going to eat your motherfucking heart. He's just screaming. So Johnny hangs up on him and then calls his lawyer. And the worst fucking lawyer in the world. He goes, hey, so I got a hypothetical I want to throw by you. I'm calling you from a payphone, but I got a hypothetical I want to throw by you. Let's say I know this guy who kidnapped a kid because the kid's brother owed him money. What kind of problems is he looking at? He's like, big ones. It's like, if they ask for ransom, he's looking at life in prison. He's like, oh, shit, life? He's like, yeah. He's like, so what should he do? And the lawyer goes, yeah, probably dig a hole. Why, kid? Who's in trouble? What's going on? Like, just let's panic this kid.
Yeah.
And then be like, well, this was a fun hypothetical. What's
Yeah.
going on?
dig a hole.
Yeah.
Immediately resort to the worst case scenario as the lawyer instead of trying to like pull this thing back a little bit and be like, hold on. Let's calm down. Let's find a way to address this properly. It's just like, yeah, dig a hole.
Dig a hole. Yeah, not like, why is this kid calling me?
Yeah.
Let's de-escalate this situation.
Especially he's a family lawyer, knowing that his father has probably done a shit ton of illegal activities.
We've barely talked about, so Bruce Willis is his dad. And
Oh.
He has like these great monologues where he's talking about his son. And
Real quick, is that his real hair? Do you think he actually grew out like his real hair for that?
Nah, I
And that might be
imagine
his
it's
actual
fake.
hairline.
He's got a full head of hair in the movie and looks good.
No, yeah.
I can't imagine he chooses to go bald. Maybe. Who the fuck knows?
Maybe they were just like,
I
hey,
don't
listen.
think it's his real hair.
I mean, he was rocking it as if it was like his actual hairline. It looks very legitimate if anyone was actually caring. But
Yeah, I care a great deal.
it looked Bruce Willis, I'd rock it, bro.
Bruce Willis, he's his dad. He seems like he's Johnny's drug supplier. Johnny goes to him after he meets with Bobby
I think he just set up
911.
everything probably for Emil Hirsch's
Yeah.
character. Just
Yeah, like it's like they were a mafia style, and
yeah,
like
because there was a scene
he was-
where
he was
someone
the
just
boss
dropped off
and
stuff
Johnny
in
was
his
lieutenant.
trunk.
Yeah.
Who knows? It might have been guns for all you know. I mean, it was a big duffel bag.
no, it was the seven whatever. They never specify what the drugs are, but it was
Yeah, true,
7.
yeah.
7 for Bobby 911.
Mm.
But yeah, I mean Bruce Willis, his dad, was kind of just a calming presence, but you can tell like, oh, he's a fucking scumbag. That's not good.
Yeah.
So he hangs up with him, and this is all the next day. And he then calls Justin Timberlake's character and is like, hey, Zach's gonna go home today. Justin Timberlake's all right. He's like, but I gotta bring him to like a motel or something. My dad's girlfriend's like, what's the deal with this kid being here all weekend? And he's like, all right, great, bring him there. So they go, they have a hotel party. Bunch of them go in the bathroom. Justin Timberlake, Zach, bunch of girls, and Justin Timberlake's on the phone with this guy, and he's like, no, I fucking told you, you pay me today. And he says great lines. This movie's full of great lines, because Justin Timberlake says, well, guess what? Next time you see me, you don't want to fucking see me. And you can't hear what the guy's saying, but I assume he says, oh, it's like that? Because Justin Timberlake then says, it's just like that, bitch. Then he hangs up. And Zach goes, hey, does that guy owe you money? He's like, yeah. He's like, well, let's kick his ass. He's like, what, you're a fucking fighter, kid? He's like, I'm a black belt in Taekwondo. And Justin Timberlake's like, no, you're not. And like, he's fucking around with him, puts the kid in the headlock. The kid gets out, drops him on the ground. And then Justin Timberlake comes at him again. He throws him in the bathtub, which is awesome.
Yeah. I was like, where was that when you were getting jumped?
This whole time, it's like, yeah, I'm just having fun. Just having fun, smoking weed. So the kid, Keith, who was in charge of watching him, he's the girl's sister. He's Frankie's friend, the 17-year-old. He comes in, he's like, we're out of beer. And Frankie's like, tell your freeloader friends I'm not made of money, but all right, I'll go buy more beer. So Justin Timberlake's just hanging out with high school kids, and he's like 21. So him and a girl, they go buy some beer, kind of thins out. Zach is left alone with Amanda Seyfried and the actress who plays Aquagirl, Amanda Heard. He gets to meet her. This is where we meet her. And she comes up and she's like, watch how fast I can down this. And she drinks a wine cooler out of a bottle, and she's not too impressive. And then Zach's like, all right, I'll do it. And just houses it. It's great.
You know, when I saw her in Aquaman, I've seen her somewhere before. She's so beautiful. I know her from somewhere. And now I know that she is from fucking Alpha Dog. Like one of my first like major, you know, when you get like into a love scene or something like that when you're growing up, you're like, oh man, this is the epitome. This is what I want when I go and I end up hooking up with a girl or having sex. Amber Heard set that up for me. I appreciate that. You literally helped develop my psychology when it comes to sex and stuff. I mean, I was totally into you when I was super young, super into you now. This is kind of getting weird. All right, back to you, David.
Yeah. Hopefully Amber Heard's listening. She'll be like, oh, Braden, what's up?
She's so bad.
But, so he chugs the wine cooler, and she's like, how old are you? And he's like, 17. And then Keith's like, 17? This motherfucker's 15 years old. And he's like, dude, what the hell? He's like, oh, sorry. He's like, they don't care. And then cut to the pool. They're skinny dipping. We don't see Amanda Seyfried's tits, but we do see Amanda Heard's, which shows you the hierarchy back then. Like, Amanda Heard is now in DC movies. And,
Oh, it would never happen like that now.
yeah, she's not showing tits, but back then she showed
Yeah,
tits.
man, you want to...
And they play Marco Polo, and Zach's it. He has like the girl's top tied around his eyes, and then the girl like lets him catch, and he fucks Amanda Seyfried and Amber Heard. And you know what? Where was his life gonna go after that? Like that's a good time after that to die. You know, banging 2 hot girls in a motel pool. Like what's
Are you talking about in the movie?
in real life?
yeah, really?
That kid, if that's how it went down,
Oh, if that actually happened.
if that's how it went down, he went out on top.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's sad. He was young, died way too young. God bless, but he went out on top.
Dude, if you literally go and have an amazing threesome like that, what, the same fucking night that you get murdered? It was the same night, right?
Oh yeah, Oh yeah.
Yeah, you're
What a weekend. But
when you meet God at the gates, he's gonna say, "Hey, I told you that life shit's pretty fucking crazy, huh?" He's like, "Yeah, you weren't lying."
yeah, and so like after that, they go, oh, Justin Timberlake, he's having sex with the brunette girl in front of a lot of people. It's like it's in a motel and it's just people around. And then he gets a call and it's Johnny and he's like, "Hey, Zach's going home." And he's like, "All right, great." And then he hangs up. He's like, "Zach's going home. Everyone get the fuck out of here." And then they cut to Johnny. It's him, Olivia Wilde, who's his girlfriend in the movie, and some buddy of theirs, and then Elvis, who's the dude that owes Johnny money, and he's like cleaning the house and all that shit earlier. Who when Justin Timberlake, he referred to Elvis early in the movie. He's like, "That slave ass motherfucker. He's like a spook." That's when Justin Timberlake was racist in this movie. He slave spook, very uncomfortable. Made me very uncomfortable.
Those early 2000 cult classics,
hearing
man.
Justin Timberlake talk like that. But Elvis is there, and Johnny's like talking to Elvis out in front of the restaurant. It's Johnny's girlfriend's birthday, so they're going in there to have dinner. And he's like, "So you know it needs to be done, right?" He's like, "Yeah." He's like, "So this is your debt. We're good." He said, "I got it." He's like, "So what do you think?" He goes, "What do I think?" He's like, "Yeah, what do you think?" He goes, "No more music videos." Which, boom, just another fucking line, because we didn't talk about it earlier.
Yeah.
They were watching a music video.
They were having a party.
It's these gangsters having a party at Johnny's house. It was right before Ben Foster got there and beat the shit out of Johnny. And they were like showing like gangsters shooting people in the music video. And Tico says, Elvis is like, "These guys are so fake with their fucking guns and their fucking chains." And then Tico goes, "The only thing these motherfuckers are shooting are music videos." Which is another great line. This movie, if you haven't watched it yet, I highly recommend it. So he said, "Hey, I need you to go kill a kid for me. What do you think?" He just says, "No more music videos." That's how he responds to that. And then he leaves. Johnny goes in to just have dinner with Olivia Wilde. And at this point, Bruce Willis and the grandpa, who we're too late in this thing to dive into the grandpa. The grandpa's a character. He's old and says a bunch of ridiculous things, but they show up at Olivia Wilde's parents' house. Bruce Willis is like, "My kid here?" And she's like, "No." He's like, "Well, something came up. You mind if we wait?" And they're like, "Yeah, sure. Come on in." And so later on, Johnny and Olivia Wilde, they get back to the house. She's like, "It's my birthday." She's hammered. She's yelling. And her mom and dad walk over, like, "We need to go in the next room." And she's like, "Fuck that. It's my birthday." And then, like, grabs her, and Olivia Wilde, like, hits the mom. And dad goes, "Whoa, time out. Party's over. You don't speak to your mother that way." Like, it was just fucking, that character didn't need to be in the movie.
Yeah.
And then Bruce Willis walks up, smacks Johnny in the face, and said, "Where is he?" He's like, "I don't know what you're talking about." And he smacks him again. He goes, "Where's the fucking kid?" And like slams him up against the wall. And the lawyer's there too. Sorry, this is all over the place. It's dad, grandpa, and the family lawyer's there. Like, he went to dad and was like, "Hey, your son fucking called me." And was like, "Hey, what happens if you steal a kid? What happens?" Like, so they're all there, and he's like, we need to go get the kid. We need to bring him to the family. Your dad's gonna bring his checkbook, and we'll settle it. And Emile Hirsch's like, "That's never gonna work." And the lawyer goes, "We're not saying it's gonna solve everything. You're probably looking at some jail time." And he goes, no jail time. And the grandpa says, 2 years? Piece of cake. Winter, summer. Let the spooks do the hard time. Which is the fucking craziest thing.
Yeah, but it just shows you, though, that this bloodline is fucking insane,
Like,
man.
that's the grandpa's mindset. Let the spooks do the hard time.
These are some crazy fucking families in California, man. Jesus.
So Bruce Willis is screaming at him. He's like, "You need to come clean now. Come clean." He's like putting a phone up in his ear. He's like, "Make the fucking call." He's like, "You don't get it. These guys are idiots. The kid's probably loose anyways." He's like, "Make the fucking call." He's like, "There's nothing I could do about it." That they just screamed for a while. So now back at the motel, Elvis shows up and grabs the kid Keith.
He's like a new man now.
Yeah, oh yeah.
This is like an exciting opportunity for this fucking dude.
He tells Justin Timberlake what's gonna happen. Justin Timberlake, no, we're not doing that. And he like slams Justin Timberlake up against the wall.
Fucking throws Justin Timberlake.
like,
Like, bitch, you don't fucking understand your fucking line.
Yeah.
You better get back in it.
Yeah, like he's fucking like he woke up and he's beating the fuck out of Justin Timberlake.
He's like, who's the big dog now?
No. He said, "Who's sucking whose cock now?"
Yep.
Because they were calling him a cocksucker earlier. Well, Justin Timberlake was being real homophobic. He was racist and homophobic, really for one scene of the movie.
Yeah.
It was really bad,
Yeah.
and then he was fine after that. But so he shows up. He's like, "I'm killing the kid." He's like, He's like, "Dude, you kidnapped him and been with him since it happened. You think you're just gonna walk? Like you're gonna go to prison? I need to kill him."
Yeah.
And they go and get shovels from Frankie's dad's house.
They go to one of their other buddies' places and get
the mom's car.
Get the mom's car.
And then he grabs. It's not really clear if because Frankie's never met Keith, who's the 17-year-old, and he's like, "Where's Frankie? I need a ride home." And then they just show him, like he takes him, and they go dig a hole, and then he comes back, and Justin Timberlake at this point knows what's going on. He's sitting in the hotel room, with
him.
the kid Zach. In this conversation, there's no way the conversation happened this way.
Yeah, this is the next piece of it.
It was because Justin Timberlake was just like, "Hey man, we go buy me some cigarettes." He's like, "I'm 15, you're not gonna sell them." He's like, "Let's go for a ride, huh? Like maybe we just go somewhere, you and me, just go chill somewhere." And the kid's like, "Nah, I just wanna stay in, watch a movie." He's watching Austin Powers.
Yeah,
I just want to stay and watch a movie.
Yeah, and it's just like you said. There's no way that the kid's not, like that actually happened because Justin Timberlake's character would have been like, "Listen, you gotta go," or he would have been in on it. You know what I'm saying? Like,
yeah,
he either said
it's
it or
either
didn't.
he doesn't say shit and he's like, "Yeah, we're killing the kid,"
Yeah.
or he's like, "Hey, I need to get you out of here right now. They're gonna
Yeah.
kill you." There's no
in between.
There's no pussyfooting around like, "Maybe we should go for a ride, man." And the kid's like, "No," and he's just like, "Okay."
Yeah,
Like
okay.
he's like, "That's fine. You don't have to go for a
Yeah,
ride."
I guess we're still down with murder then.
Yeah. So then Elvis comes back. Keith's freaking out. He's like, "What the fuck just happened?" And Elvis like, "Hey, Zach, I'm Elvis, and I'm giving you a ride home."
Seemed like a real straight up guy.
Yeah. So they get in the car, they're riding, and Zach's like, "Yeah, man, my parents are gonna be pissed. I think I'm gonna tell them I just ran off to Bakersfield."
Oh yeah, they are hyping this whole
Yeah.
part up like crazy. The entire time this kid is saying like the worst shit I guess you would ever want to hear if you're about to go murder someone.
He's like, I'm just gonna start fresh, because like my mom, she's real strict, but I love her. She's my mom, and like I wanna have a new relationship with her. And you guys know, I would never rat you out.
Yeah,
like I love you guys.
I love you guys. I would never rat you guys out.
Like it's the worst. If I was killing a kid and he was saying this in the back, I'd be like, "Fuck, I can't do it."
Yeah, but if I would just be like, "Bro, we're good. Let's just take him the fuck home, bro." Like, this kid fucking loves us, bro. But this is one other little loop too. What's funny is they think like another huge aspect is the fact that Emil Hirsch's character is fucking scared of Ben Foster's character, which is the kid's older brother who is abducted, because he literally was screaming at him, I'm gonna hunt you down. I'm gonna kill you. So he's saying all that. Obviously he's scared. It's like, why would he think that killing his brother is going to solve that? Obviously when his younger brother turns up dead, obviously Ben Foster's character is going to go after Emil Hirsch's character even more now. To me, it was like backwards thinking for him to be like, "Oh, our only possibility besides jail time, also me getting murdered, is to murder this kid." You know what I'm saying?
Emil Hirsch's character, Johnny Truelove, like he wasn't the most level-headed thinker, first of all.
Oh, for sure.
But also, like, you look at his options there. It's either turn the kid in, go to prison, and maybe have Ben Foster kill me, or kill the kid, and I just need to avoid Ben Foster. Maybe I have him killed before he can get to me. Like there's
but now
it's a slip. It's not a great situation, no matter what way he looks at it.
Yeah,
but like he had to kill him, he had to.
I would have given the kid back, and I would have took all my money, and I would have fucking left to a different country or something like that, and started a whole new life. If I'm not fucking dumb to abduct a fucking kid in the first place.
Yeah, but he was dumb enough to abduct them, and
but he obviously had
and
the
have
money.
parties and witnesses. The witness counter, by the way. So
It's like 30 fucking people.
So they bring Zach. They like park out. They're out in the desert somewhere. There's this big rock.
Yeah.
And they just park there. He's like, "What are we doing?" And Elvis goes, "We're gonna go meet someone who's giving you a ride." He goes, "All right." Gets out of the car.
To start hiking up a fucking small mountain.
And they start hiking up, and then just two people walk by. And so the
Just
whole
got done with,
movie,
like, a whole
whenever
fucking hike, like a huge hike.
whenever they show new people, the whole movie, it says whatever number witness they were.
Yeah.
And this was witness 37 and 38. So they let 38 people see them with an abducted kid. That's just
Within how long? Like what?
within a 3-day span.
Yeah.
So they go up there. The Keith kid freaks out. The Keith kid knows what's gonna happen, and he's just like, "I'm gonna go. I'm waiting by the car. I'm not doing this."
Well, apparently he runs up and hugs him,
And Zach's,
too.
so yeah, he goes up, hugs him, and Zach's like, "The fuck's going on?" He goes, "Frankie, what's going on, man?" And like he realized, like, oh shit. He's like, "There's no one up there." And Justin was like, "No, we're taking you to get a ride. I promise. We're taking you up there. We're gonna give you a ride." He's like, "Okay, Frankie. All right, I love you, Frankie." And they go up there. They walk up to the hole that they dug for the kid's grave. He's like, "No, Frankie, they're gonna kill me. I promise I'm not gonna talk." And Justin Timberlake's like, "Look, I promise I would never hurt you. I love you. I would never hurt you." And then Elvis tossed some duct tape. He's like, "I gotta duct tape your hands together, okay? But I promise I would never hurt you." And he's like, "Okay, Frankie. Okay, I trust you." So he duct tapes his hand together. And he's like, "I gotta put tape over your mouth, okay?" He's like, "Okay, Frankie." He's like, "I love you and I would never hurt you." He's like, I know. Okay, Frankie." Duct tapes his mouth. Elvis hits the kid overhead with a shovel and then pulls out a Tech 9 and shoots him. It's like a handheld automatic gun and like 15 times, too many times.
Yeah.
Kid's dead. Which, first time I saw this movie, I was like, "Oh, there's no way he's gonna die." There's no way they're gonna kill him. And then rewatch, I'm like, "Oh no, of course, obviously he's gonna die." How like that whole movie's set up to it. Of course he's gonna die.
You were too conditioned. You were too young,
Yeah.
too conditioned to someone always living.
Yeah. Well, do you remember what movie we bought tickets to see when we went and saw this?
Oh, no.
Bridge to Terabithia. We bought tickets for that. They were like, "We're gonna go see Alpha Dog."
Fucking snuck in. A bunch of little badasses.
So kills him. Kid's dead, obviously.
Yeah, but the biggest little loop here is the fucking 1 foot ditch. They digged 1 or 2, not even, maybe 1 foot into the fucking ground.
And that was real for the movie. It was 7 feet wide, like in real life. It was 7 feet wide, 2 feet deep.
Oh my God.
And they covered him with branches and dirt. He was found 3 days later.
Oh my God, bro.
But so the kid's dead, and then it cuts to Sharon Stone's character, who we didn't talk enough about her. She does a great job in this movie.
Yeah,
She
does.
plays the kid Zach's mom. She's like a strict, overbearing mom, and then her kid gets stolen, and she's depressed. And she's being interviewed and talking about her suicide attempts, and she's put on like 60 pounds. Talks about that. She's like, I died the day my son died. And then they just kind of cut around, and they're jumping around to different people. Elvis gets arrested. He goes to the kid's house, whose mom's car they stole. He's like, "Get the fuck out of here, dude." He's like, "I need help." He's like, "I don't care. You used my mom's car and killed a kid. Get the fuck away from me."
Yeah.
And the cops show up, and they chase him. They get him. Tico, looks like they just bust into his house, arrest him. Frankie's like longboarding in his neighborhood, and his dad's out front talking to a cop, and like his dad's smiling. His dad doesn't understand what's going on. It looks like he's just friends with the cop, and he's like,
Yeah.
"Oh, there he is. Hey, Frankie, come on over. I want you to meet somebody."
Oh my God.
So he goes to prison, and then Johnny. Oh my God. Johnny shows up at his buddy's house, who he hadn't seen since junior high. And is just like, "Hey, I kidnapped a kid that I had my friends killed. I need you to get me out of the country." And the guy's just like, "Yeah, I got you. I got you." Junior high is middle school.
It's been 15 years, but yeah,
Yeah.
bro, I got you.
Yeah, like there's no scenario of anyone that I haven't seen since junior high who comes up to me and is like, "Hey, I kidnapped a kid and the kid is now dead. I need to get out of the country."
Dude, what are you talking
that
about?
I'm not like, "Dude, get out of here. I'm calling the police." fuck away from me.
What are you talking about, bro? We had math class. I helped you cheat on all your tests.
Yeah, like that's insane to me that that's the guy that helped him. And he
Oh,
drove
yeah, for sure, bro.
He drove him to like the Canadian border, and he's like, no, turn around. And then he's like, no, wait, no, let's do Canada. He's like, dude, I'm not doing this all day. Where the
Drove
fuck
him
you wanna
across
go?
all of the fucking country, fucking to multiple borders.
And then drives him back to the valley to his grandpa's house, and then leaves. And he's like, I'm gonna be 5 minutes. I'm coming right back. He's like, yeah, okay. Drops him off the house, and then just leaves. He's like, I'm not getting more caught up in this.
Yeah.
And then so that's the last time we
Well,
see.
really quick, since we were talking about Sharon Stone, what about the fucking husband? David Thornton plays Butch Mazursky. Worst father of all time? No offense to the dude. I mean, first son is a skinhead. And then his second son?
First son's a skinhead, and what is dad?
Yes, as a Jew.
Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah, like what? How did you go so wrong being a parent to where your son is like?
So, I mean, like, we could, worst father ever him, but Bruce Willis's son kidnapped and murdered a kid. So
Yeah,
I think Bruce Willis did a little bit worse of a job.
Yeah, but Bruce
You're
Willis,
crazy. His oldest son has a drug addiction. The other one was going through like some teenage angst and got caught up in it and got kidnapped and murdered. And you're putting it all on the dad. That's hard, man. That's fucking.
We should start a little poll. Who's the worst father?
Yeah, I mean it's gotta be Bruce
Sonny
Willis.
Truelove or Butch Mazursky?
So Johnny gets out of the country, or in real life, Jesse James Hollywood got out of the country. In real life, everyone got caught immediately, and then Jesse James Hollywood got caught like 6 years later. He was in Brazil.
Oh, it was Brazil.
Yeah, he was in Brazil. He was teaching English, and his dad was sending him $1,200 a month, which is I don't know how like took him 6 years to realize. Oh, his dad's missing $1,200 every month. Where's that going? Let's find out. In Brazil, real life, Jesse James Hollywood got a Brazilian woman pregnant because
There's some law over there.
it was his understanding that he could not be deported back to the U.S. if he had a child in Brazil. But he was in Brazil illegally, so he misinterpreted that law because he was not a legal Brazil citizen. He was illegally in that country. So, like, yeah, he just got caught and deported back to the U.S., and he's serving life in prison. Elvis, who killed the kid, is on death row in San Quentin right now. And the real guy's Ryan Hoyt, I believe his name is, real life, during his trial, was quoted as saying, all I did was kill the kid. He's like, I wasn't a part of the kidnapping and that. I just killed him. Like, that was it. Like, oh, shit, we're sorry.
I guess it doesn't seem as bad.
All right, so here's like 5 years, and then you're out.
Yeah.
Justin Timberlake's character got out of prison in 2013. That is amazing to me that he was there from the beginning. Yeah, he was probably great. He probably really cared about the kid.
Well, it's fucking insane. This dude can go Google shit about Alpha Dog, and then maybe this podcast, for some reason, comes up with a hashtag or some shit, and he's like, hey, let me listen, and then fucking just listens to us two talking.
I can't imagine this podcast comes
Yeah,
up.
but could you imagine though him listening on what a.
Hey, if you're listening right now, Jesse, I don't know your last name, but Justin Timberlake played you in Alpha Dog. You're welcome on this show anytime. Anytime you want to come be on the 5-6 Kings, you let me know.
Yeah, just message our Instagram page or follow up us, our email or.
Yeah. And so, Tico did 9 years, and the poor 17-year-old kid who. He was really just a victim of circumstance. He had nothing to do with any of it. He was just there, and the fucking older gangster kids were like, you're going to fucking watch the 15-year-old for us. He did 8 years and then got out, what a fucking... His kid was just a stoner kid. And then he did 8 years in prison. So that's Alpha Dog.
Yeah.
It didn't win any Academy Awards, shockingly, but it should have.
Mm-hmm.
Greatest movie of all time.
Well, I think what's funny is the difference between watching it back then versus now. back then, I feel like I was so caught up in the emotions and the way that the actors portrayed it, rather than as much of the storyline. Like I got invested into the characters and the characteristics and the behaviors of these people rather than like the actual story. And now when I watch it back, I'm so much more invested in the storyline than just the characters, where I'm like, oh my God, this is kind of fucked up. But one thing I would say too, just jump on a different topic, is
so before you jump on a different topic, like, yeah, because like we were 12 when we saw that movie.
yeah.
And it was a bunch of younger people smoking weed, drinking, getting laid. We were like, dude, like, that looks fucking awesome. Yeah, a kid died somewhere in the middle of it, but everything around that was fucking awesome. Like,
Yeah.
why can't that be our lives?
Yeah. Yeah, which is, really sad that, that can leave such an impression. But the other thing I was going to say is, watching it now, fucking Christ, am I jealous of this fucking cast. I mean, you fucks probably fucked each other the entire time. You guys probably all just went to parties and fucking did crazy. I mean, obviously not. You guys are professional actors. You took it professionally. But at the same time, the Hollywood parties around this cast and this film was probably insane. I mean, for sure the cast probably partied together. For sure, I'm jealous of they were probably having so much fun on set. And just, I don't know, the way that this film was probably shot and what they did, cast-wise together, I'm just jealous, man. They probably had a fucking fun-ass time, honestly. I mean, think about the parties, bro. They probably had Emil Hirsch, Justin Timberlake, fucking Amber Heard. Oh, my God.
So Amber Heard was in one scene. I can't imagine she was there the whole time.
Oh, bro.
She was there for a day.
Hollywood, David. Hollywood.
You know what? You're right, man. That's Hollywood. And for those of you guys listening, that's Alpha Dog. If you haven't seen the movie, highly recommend it. It's great for all ages. If you're 12 years old and you're listening to this, don't go watch it.
It's a little influential.
Yeah. That's why it's rated R for a reason.
Yeah.
I saw that movie when I was 12, and I was like, oh, I want to be the head drug dealer who kidnapped the kid and had him killed and then ran off to a different country and is now in prison.
And then I want to be, his right-hand man, Justin Timberlake, where I only get, 8 years in prison and now I'm out, even though I was one of the main fucking...
The moral of that is that Braden's just smarter than me. He's like, I don't want to be that asshole who's getting life. I want to do 10 years and I'm out.
Yeah, but I want to make an Alpha Dog too. So, I mean, which is obviously what Justin Timberlake's character's in the work of doing right now.
They can't do Alpha Dog 2.
It hasn't been done yet. That's what I'm saying. It's based on true stories. Now that Justin Timberlake's character is out of prison, who knows what story is coming next?
But, yeah, man, it was just crazy rewatching a movie that I probably watched 100 times when I was 12, 13, 14 as an adult and being like, oh my God, like these guys are little rascals. Like,
fucking
what
knuckleheads.
are they doing? They can't do anything right. They got to get it together.
Yeah.
And just know like what an influence that movie had on me back then. It's bananas. And I'm as much as I wanna pull my gun out and say, put your boy in check, tell him what fucking time it is, I am so happy I'm not that guy.
Yeah. Luckily we didn't have Bruce Willis or what was his name, Bobby Thornton or some shit as parents, or David Thornton.
Well, I mean, it would have been nice just to have a dad in general,
Oh, fuck.
Yeah.
Shit.
Anyway, well, that's the podcast, guys. Braden, you got anything else you wanna add on?
Go watch Alpha Dog. It might not be a cult classic, but it should be.
I mean, it is a cult classic. And you know what else is a cult classic?
No.
Subway. Subway. Go to your local Subway. Tell them what up. The 5'6" King sent me. And get yourself a protein bowl. Because if they're good enough for Tony Hawk, they're good enough for you. Subway. Eat fresh. Please give us money.
Peace out.
Bitch, I'm from Palm Beach